Today we are going to create a piece of art that is an optical illusion. Optical illusion means that our eyes see something that is not there. Oftentimes the work appears to be moving. In this optical illusion, the smaller cubes in the middle either appear to come out towards you or they recess and go back into the bigger shape. It depends on which way your eye focuses what you see. If you concentrate, sometimes you can focus both directions and see it happen both ways. So this optical illusion, we are going to be using a shape called a polygon. A polygon is a math term. It describes a shape that has straight sides and angles. For our polygon, we are going to use a hexagon. That's a word that you've heard in the art room. You've also heard it in math. A hexagon is a polygon because it has straight sides and angles. A hexagon has 6 sides. That's why it's named a hexagon. And finally, there is what a hexagon looks like. It's important for us to make sure when we draw our hexagon that the point is at the top. You can draw a hexagon with it going any direction and it still would be a hexagon as long as it had 6 sides. But we need our point at the top for this project. So we're going to begin to draw our hexagon. You will need a ruler. You will need an eraser for this project. Make sure that you have both available to you. My ruler at home here is an 18-inch ruler, which is much too big to use in this space. So I have taken a piece of cardstock and used my 18-inch ruler to measure off in 1-inch segments because that's what I want to be using today. I'm actually going to turn my paper up and down. I want you to draw with a pencil, although I will be drawing with a Sharpie for at least part of this lesson to make sure you can see it. So I'm going to start near the top using 1-inch lines. If I had a protractor, that's another art word. I don't know if you've used them yet or not. I don't have one at home. If I had a protractor, I would make sure that my angle measured 60 degrees. That would make a more perfect hexagon for our project. However, I don't have one. So I can't measure this angle to know the size. So I have a point at the top. I used 1 inch for each line there. I come straight down for 1 inch on each side. And I want to make sure that this point lines up at the bottom. So I'm actually going to switch to a pencil at this point. And I'll make myself a dot so I can see where the center is so I can line that up. So I'm going to make my 1-inch line. And I'm a little bit, well, no, I'm not too bad off, just slightly off. My 1-inch line on that side. And then I end up with this diamond-looking shape, my hexagon. Every line is 1 inch. Now I'm hoping you're going to be able to see well what I'm going to do next because we need to erase lines and I want to use a pencil for that. So I'm going to make a line that goes right straight through this top and bottom point. I am going to extend my line 1 inch beyond my shape. See that? Okay? Yeah, I think you can. Now I'm going to do the same thing with points on both sides. So I end up with something that kind of looks like a snowflake or a starburst shape. You see that? Okay. Going back to my Sharpie now so I can make sure that you see. And using my straight edge, I'm going to connect the ends of those lines. The reason I drew the lines with the pencil is because we will be erasing part of those lines out. I can't do that if I use my Sharpie. And I wanted to make it so that I could be clear about expectations with this project. I didn't do a very good job with that line, but it's not going to hurt our project. connected all my points. So I'm a little bit off on my outside shape. Again, won't matter that much. Taking an eraser, I want you to erase every other line. So I start at the top and I erase this line out. Gone. Leave the next one, erase. Leave the next one, erase. And I leave that one. So I'm going to go back in now with my Sharpie and show you which lines I have left there. I should have used my straight edge to make that a little clearer. Hopefully it's not too bad. Now it looks like I have 3 L shapes formed. Can you see them? All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the inner circle. I have a line here, so I skip the next one, which would be the one right above it. Leave the line, erase. Leave the line, erase. This time I will, because I know how poorly I did before, I will put those lines back in using my straight edge. So it's making like a Y here. Now you can already begin to see that I have what looks like a cube inside of a larger cube. Now to add color to this is a very important step. You want to make sure that you're doing your very best coloring. And by that I mean that you want a good saturation of color, nice and dark, and that also you want to color within the lines very clearly. This should not be messy in any way. If it is, your work's not going to turn out as well. And I don't know if you can tell, but one of my lines is severely off here. Let me see if I can fix that because it looks a little wonky. I don't know what to do with my Sharpie. There it is. Since I'm coloring, I think that I can repair it. And hopefully it will be okay. All right. I want you to choose analogous colors. 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. My purple decided it wanted to be the first color I used. So I'm going to color slow along the edges. My 3 analogous colors that I have chosen are purple, blue, and green. So I'm starting with my purple. Again, slow along the edges. And then I can color fast in the middle. We learned that in kindergarten. I know you remember. And I color in that whole space. Right? Now I want you to color the shape that lines up with this same color. What does Mrs. Hammond mean by that? If I look at this color and move that direction, the shape I hit is this one. It is lined up. It is parallel. So I want to color this shape the same color as I did the first one. Good saturation of color. Taking my next color, you can decide which way you go with this, which shape you go to next. I'm going to go here. Slow around the edges. Notice how I use the side of that marker, not the tip, so I get a good covering of color. So this flat area, if I move this way, the next flat one is that one. So I'm going to color that with this blue. And I didn't do a very good job with my slow around the edges there. I kind of got in line, out of line. The last color I chose was the green. Now, this is the easy part because I know that whatever's left, I'm going to color with my 3rd analogous color, which is the green. You can see why we needed the pencils and erasers now, so we can get rid of those extra lines. I've got a few stray lines from my marker that I wish weren't there. But now, either my shape is bumping out at me, this one in the middle, or it's recessed back, depending on how I look at it. I actually can see it both directions when I look at this. How you color makes a difference. The amount of color you add on there makes a difference. If you think you love it and you really want to try hard, add more than one. Totally up to you. This is what I'm looking for the project. I can't wait to see what you did.